Hello guys, welcome back to GrazyTV News, where we talk about true crime cases from Asia, and I do have some updates from the previous Korean murder cases that we've gone through. Remember, if you guys like these videos, a like, subscribing, and just commenting on what you thought about today's cases really all help to run this channel and hit the algorithm. If you guys still miss me, I have a new podcast channel called the GrazyTV Podcast with my co-host Emma. It is motivational friendship mixed with astrology, so if you guys like all of those, go and check out the GrazyTV Podcast. I will link it down in the cards and the description box. The first story we have is from Japan. A very famous Japanese child actor was just arrested in connection to a mysterious murder. And this case is blowing up in Japan because you really don't hear much about these kind of cases in Japan. At the moment, 4 young adults were arrested in connection to a murder of a couple in their 50s. They were found dead in Nasu, Tochigi Prefecture, which is said to be near Tokyo. Not a lot of information are known about the couple. They were said to run about 10 restaurants. The information that we do have at the moment is that these young adults took the couple to an empty house. They kidnapped them. They ended their lives by strangulation and disposed their bodies and even tried to burn them. There were 4 suspects that was related to this case. The first is Hikaru Sasaki. He's 28 years old. He was the oldest and said to be the person who told everyone to partake in this murder. Second is Hirayama, who is 25 years old. Third suspect is Kirato Wakayama. He is 20 years old and he is the childhood actor who used to be pretty famous. He was in a lot of Japanese movies such as the live action of Kiki's Delivery Service, Nightmare Jang, Kirato Wakayama, Hell Teacher, Nube, and Mask Rider Wizard. And one of his most famous work was Gunshi Kanbi, and he was said to be very active as an actor until 2018. The fourth suspect to be arrested, and why this case is also blowing up in South Korea, is because there was a South Korean national that was also caught as the suspect. His name is Kang Kwang-gi. He is 20 years old, or somewhere in his 20s. The story goes that it was a 28-year-old Hikaru was the main suspect, and the 3 of them are saying that he was a leader. According to the investigators, and quote from Asahi News, Hirayama gave the keys to his car to Kang and Wakayama on April 15th at a convenience store in Tokyo Shinagawa ward. Hirayama also instructed the 2 to drive the car to an empty lot in the same ward to meet up with the couple around midnight. 2 later drove the car to Tochigi Prefecture, according to the sources. So it seems like they met up with the couple somehow. Maybe there was some kind of arrangements. They were pretending to be businessmen. Why would a couple in their 50s meet up with a bunch of kids in their 20s? For what? That is a mystery as well. Were they pretending to be like people that were trying to buy something from them, buy their restaurants, so they met up at midnight? Were they involved in something illegal? And this all happened on April 15th. They even had a rental car. Some of the evidences that were found was the evidence of the victim's blood, driver license, and other items that were found inside of their rental cars. The bodies were discovered on April 16th, just the next day, and the police went through the CCTV footages. And thank God for cameras, especially in Asia, because they're everywhere, in Korea and Japan. Now, Hikaru himself blames an anonymous man, saying that he followed instruction from somebody else, that he was instructed to end the lives of this couple for money, and it was a hefty amount of money. But at the moment, this anonymous man have not been found. We don't know if the story is true or if Hikaru is making all this up. But at the moment, we do have evidence that Hikaru gave about 100 million yen, which equals to about $87,000 to Hirayama, the 25-year-old, and he hired Kirato and Kang, the 20-year-old, the actor and the Korean man, to come along and help dispose the bodies. Where did Hikaru get the 100,000 yen himself? Did he get it from somebody else, or did this money belong to the couple? Hikaru himself is claiming that he didn't receive the compensation yet from the anonymous man, and that he paid his friends, the 3 others, for doing the deeds. Which doesn't make sense, of course. Like, you should be paid first and then give the money to your friends if this story was true. So police are currently investigating if there is another person involved, a top person involved in instructing the execution of this couple. It's crazy because Kirato, the actor, and Kang, the Korean man, they're not even related. Like, Apparently, they didn't even know each other. Now, so far, it is believed that the 3 suspects, the 28-year-old, the 25-year-old, and the Korean man, are all involved in actually assaulting and ending the lives of the couple. And Kirato, the Japanese actor, he was hired to dispose the body. It is believed that the 3 suspects, the 28-year-old, 25-year-old, and the Korean man, they all met while drinking somewhere in Tokyo last year in 2023. There's a lot more questions than answers right now, obviously, as how did a famous child actor Kirato even get involved, and why did he get even involved in something like this? Where did it go wrong, and did he get into the wrong crowd after his acting career? Is any amount of money worth it to end a life of somebody being caught and being sent to jails for decades, or even, for life or execution? That is all the information that we have currently at this moment. I will keep you guys updated. The next case is from South Korea. We have an update on the evil river wife case. To recap, about 2 years ago, there was a huge true crime case that happened in South Korea. It was such a strange story because it was about a man in his 40s, well, he was in his late 30s when he got married to a woman in her 20s. And it is one of the most chilling cases from South Korea. I will put the full video that I did up here on the cards. So Lee was married to Mr. Yoon back in 2017, and it was said that even if they got married, they never lived together. They never even went on dates together. It was just a strange marriage. You can't even call it a love marriage because Mr. Yoon had bought a newlywed apartment for the two, but only Lee was living there, and Mr. Yoon was living in a cheap basement. They were married, but they were just talking on the phone time to time. And long story short, he was pretty much being manipulated and gaslit by his new wife. The strangest part is Mr. Yoon sent all of his life savings and his monthly salary to Lee every single month, and he literally had like $1 or $2 left in his bank account. And there's text messages where he had to beg his coworker and his wife that he had no money for food and water, while she lived in a nice apartment, his car, his credit card, all his money. Voice recordings show how chilling and cold she was to him, and the only thing she wanted to talk about was money. And later we would find out that shortly after their marriage, Lee and Yoon would go to her friend to get a life insurance taken out for Yoon, and they were paying literally premium prices for life insurance. We also find out that there were 3 previous attempts for Lee to eliminate Yoon, and you know where we're going, that this was a love scam for insurance money. The first attempt, which we don't know if this is 100% true or not, but according to the police, Lee tried to fondle with Yoon's car by messing up the tires, and he almost got into a bad accident. Second attempt was when she tried to feed him poison from a fish, and there's all text messages of Yoon being like, you try to kill me with the poison, blah blah blah, but Yoon was just so naive and loved the idea of having a wife that he kind of like looked over it after a while. The third attempt was when her and her male friend tried to push him under the water during a fishing trip. And we later find out that this male friend that she always brought around Yoon was someone that she was secretly dating and was involved in the murder. The fourth attempt is when they were successful. In 2019, Lee and Joe, her secret boyfriend, would bring Yoon to this river summer vacation thing that they were doing. And in CCTV footages, you see Lee pick up Yoon with Lee's secret boyfriend, Joe, which Yoon thought was her male friend. And this was a normal thing that Yoon would only see his wife time to time when they would go on these short vacations with her friends. She was literally like a parasite sucking on Yoon for his money. These footages hours before Yoon passed away went viral because you could see these group of people in their 20s and 30s make fun of Yoon. And later on, the story goes that they pushed him to jump on the cliff of the waterfall, and Yoon went ahead, although family and friends knew that he could not swim at all. And this is also still a mystery, but somehow Yoon decided to jump from the waterfall and he would end up drowning. The people that went on this river trip, including Lee and Joe, claimed that they didn't know that he was drowning, that they did try to save him, but it was too late and it's a freak accident. Now later on, the family just could not fathom that this was true and that this had to be a planned murder executed by Lee and Joe to make it look like it was a freak accident. Prosecutors in court were able able to prove that indeed this was a pre-planned murder by Lee and Joe, both of them, and she tried to claim a $700,000 insurance money after he passed. She was sentenced to life while Joe was sentenced to 30 years for his partake. We find out that Lee had a crazy past, and she is a pretty scary woman. She was known to be a liar, a scammer. She was prosecuted for illegal soliciting, if you know what I mean, adult world, just when she was a teenager. She got pregnant at 19 years old. We do not know who the baby daddy is, but it was said that she rarely took care of her daughter, and her daughter should be 13 years old at the moment. Her past 3 boyfriends/husband all mysteriously passed away in a freak accident. In 2010, her boyfriend Kim passed away from a car accident. 2014, her fiance died in Thailand from a snorkeling accident. And in 2019, Yoon, her husband, passed away. We of course don't know if she got any monetary compensation from the previous boyfriend and fiance that passed away, and we also don't know if she was really directly related, but it is pretty odd when 3 of your husband or boyfriend passes away in your lifetime. So fast forward to 2023, Lee actually tried to still file to get her insurance money from the life insurance for Yoon, her passed away husband. After being charged for murder and being sentenced life in prison, she still tried to claim in court that she deserved the money. Now, of course, the court sided with the family and the insurance, saying that no, she should not deserve this money, obviously. And in 2024, the family had won the case to nullify the marriage between Lee and Yoon, arguing that this was not a real marriage, that this was a scam marriage and the marriage should be voided. The court sided with the family, claiming that this was not a real love marriage. It is voided, so technically, even if she tries, she can never get any money from Yoon's family ever again. Hopefully that this would have brought a little bit of peace to Yoon's family and how Mr. Yoon passed away. I mean, if you really research and listen to the case, you guys, it is so sad what Mr. Yoon went through. At the end of the day, he was an adult male, and why did he put up with this? I'm sure every one of you guys watching have been in love before. I've been in love before, and I've gone through crazy length to prove to somebody who didn't really like me back as the way that I did. And sometimes love makes you do crazy things. But again, hopefully this news will bring peace to the family as a court rule that nope, this was not a real marriage. Another great news from South Korea, another law has passed from South Korea, and we will get into it right now. So back in 2022 in Gangnam, South Korea, a Caucasian man from San Francisco was doing a weird petition right in front of the Gangnam where so many people are walking. He was on a running machine in the middle of the streets, and it's like, what are you doing? Was this a clever promotion for a gym membership? Come to find out, he was doing a 1-person petition for his kids to get back his kids from his wife who kidnapped their kids from San Francisco to South Korea. And he claims that he hasn't seen his kids since 2018.
This is my life now. I have to keep going, but still not getting any closer, so please help me. My home is in San Francisco, California. I came to Korea to try to bring children back home.
John was married to a South Korean woman, and they lived in San Francisco and had 2 beautiful kids. In 2018, he claims that there was some kind of a big argument between him and his wife, which is normal between couple. And one day, his wife said that, hey, I want to go back to South Korea. I want the kids to, see the grandparents, see the culture. Now, after a few weeks, when they were supposed to come back, they never took that flight. And later would find out that she never planned to come back. She technically kidnapped the kids to South Korea. John would later fly to South Korea to meet up with his wife. They were trying to talk it out, and apparently it did work, and they were supposed to come and fly back to San Francisco, but 2 days before the flight, she canceled it and again blocked and kicked him out. Because of this, he had to go through expensive and long legal process in both California and South Korea, and both countries all declared that he must get custody of the kids. But there is a law in South Korea that if the kids say that they don't want to go to their custodial parent, like police, the law, nobody can do anything about it, even though you have the custody of the kids. Which is crazy, because how can kids under the age of 10 give consent to say, I want to stay with mom or dad? John's custody case in South Korea went all the way up to the Supreme Court, and they even ruled saying that he gets primary care of the kids, and still, as the mother claimed that, nope, I don't want to give the kids back. Technically, there was no law in South Korea that could get the kids back if the mother and the kids refused. John says that he quit his job. He flew to Korea in order to get his kids back. He doesn't know when he's going to get the kids back. And within the couple of years, he spent close to $1 million in lawyer fees and the court fees, and living in South Korea, a country that he doesn't really know about, which is the craziest thing that I saw. And I'm like, wow, mad respect to John, because he doesn't even know when he's going to get the kids back. The court and, the police, the law is not in his favor right now in South Korea, and he's living there not knowing when he's going to see them, and for years with no jobs. He's just living off of life savings and debt. And he even decided to go out to the streets to do a one-man petition to get people's attention in order to change the law, or to have somebody help him in a country that he doesn't even know the language. Some of the documentary crews did try to get in contact with the mother, and she does sound unstable and unreasonable. I'm so sorry he had to go through that. Why is she going this far in this length to do this? Nobody knows. And there is no evidence that John was being abusive or anything other than being a supportive parent to his kids. And because of this, American politicians also called Korea a safe haven for kidnappers, because the law can't do anything. You can literally take the kidnapped kids to South Korea and police can't do anything about it. And this has enraged so many people. Now, because of John and his petition and trying to get the law passed in 2024, finally, Korean lawmakers decided to take out the law that stated if kids refuse, they can't enforce the ruling, and completely take that out of the laws, making it possible to enforce to get the kids out and give them back to the primary parents. And finally, making it legal for John to reunite with his kids after 6 years. This is the photo we have from April 15th when John was finally reunited with his kids, and they're back in San Francisco apparently. I cannot fathom what John had to go through, but because of him and his case and his efforts, the law was able to be changed for the future. So hopefully this law will impact a lot of people and people's kids that's been kidnapped. Let me know what you guys had thought about today's cases. Thank you guys so much for watching. Remember, hitting the like button, commenting, subscribing, all really helps to run GrazyTV. Thank you guys so much. See you next time.